Okay, I'm with John Brown here. We are at the Driver Check Fitness for Duty Summit, and I've got John Brown with Accelerate. How are we doing today, John?
Doing really good. How about you?
Good, buddy. So you've got an interesting program here, but before we get into that, tell us a background of what your company does, just kind of the overview.
Great. So DriveAble.
See, I like this guy. He's taking the mic.
DriveAble is a cognitive assessment company, and what we look at is everything related to the brain and how it directly associates with safety-sensitive positions. We have a number of products that look at safety sensitive, we look at impairment, but in particular we focus on driving and how our brains affect our ability to safely drive on a daily basis.
Okay. I'm going to let John be the interviewer. No, so how do you, how long have you been involved with the company? Like, what's your background? How'd you get into that?
So I am the VP of Business Development,
okay,
and I joined the company about 5 years ago. I came on just at the request of the board of directors to come out and help out in some areas. And I've been kind of the champion behind our commercial testing platform. And so I work with all of our customers, I work with transit organizations, trucking companies, being able to help them find a solution that's going to really make sure that their drivers are safe and help their drivers be the safest drivers on the road.
Okay. So I'm familiar with a lot of online profiling, which we call it, I guess we'll call it, I don't know if that's the term, where people are doing that for recruitment, right? Drivers thinking of coming on, do you fit our culture, you click X, Y, Z, whatever boxes. But yours is different. Yours isn't for recruiting necessarily.
We do use it for recruiting.
It could be, right?
Yeah.
But so give us an idea of what your program does.
Great. So we have a two-component program. One is right behind you. We have an in-office assessment. And so the in-office assessment has 6 tasks that are directly related with driving performance. And each task helps us to be able to evaluate if there could be something that could be impairing an individual's ability to drive. And then we don't diagnose illnesses, we don't diagnose, all we're just saying is there might be a risk associated with this individual, but let's send them for the proper support and help them out. So the first task, what we're looking at in this task, and I'll just give you a really, I don't know if it will pick up on the screen, but basically they're going to hold down the center button, they're going to reach up and they're going to touch a shape. We're measuring the reaction time of when they let go of the button to when they touch the shape, as well as we're measuring of how close to the center of the shape they're going. Our brains tell us to go to the center of the shape, but more often than not, if there's a medical condition that could be impairing us, we're going to go outside that shape. The second task, what we're looking at is memory. And basically with memory, what we're looking to do is just be able to see, do you have a good short-term memory? So what I asked them to do is to identify the shapes in the box. And they're looking for the target shapes of circle and square.
Okay.
Now on that screen, what we had just seen was 2 squares, and then there's a distractor. And then as an evaluator, I would ask them, okay, what did you see? And I say, did you see circle and square? And they would say, no, I saw square, square, so they would choose no. So then we do that again, and again, we're looking for a circle and square, the distractor's there, and then we're able to see, okay, did they have that short-term memory, or did they get confused from the distractor and not be able to respond? Most people can respond to this very easily, there's no issues. Now, what we do is we add one complexity to this, so I'm just going to go no. And somewhere on the screen, they're trying to identify a dot. So this dot is right here. So their first job is to identify the shapes. The second job is to identify the dot. Why is this important? We're looking at the peripheral vision. So their field of vision is very important when driving, and your ability to be able to see on all areas, especially when you're driving a large truck. And what happens is medical conditions can impair our field of vision and narrow them to the point that we're having to do this extra scanning, which, number one, isn't good for our bodies because we're putting pressure on us. And number 2, it actually puts us at risk for missing something when we're not actively doing that scanning process. So again, it's just saying, okay, what could be there and be able to give a risk factor. So that they just choose where they saw the dot and they go from there. The next task, what they're looking to do is look at spatial judgment. Spatial judgment helps us make the decision, can I take a left here, can I merge in and out of traffic, am I safe to be able to do that? And it's actually a very simple game. My developers would be very angry if I said this, but it's just like Frogger. So if you remember Frogger, basically what they would do is they press the button, and when they feel they can safely merge through traffic, they go through traffic. The speed never changes of the lines, but what changes is the gaps in between.
Oh, I see.
So that's all it is. Basically. Fourth task, we're looking at cued and miscued stimuli. So this stimuli is basically when someone prompts that they're going to do something, you normally expect them to do it. So for example, a car says they're going to turn right, you're hoping they're going to turn right. But we know that some drivers don't always do what they say.
Or know their right.
Or know their rights and their lefts. And so then what we're just testing is your ability to respond when they don't do what they say they're going to do. And so what we do is we have these two boxes, and I'll just show you right here. There's two boxes, and in the two boxes, there's going to be a signal, one way or the other. The box will flash, or there'll be an arrow pointing, and that's signaling what the driver would do.
Okay.
But most of the time, the pound sign will show up in the box that it's signaled. Once in a while, the pound sign will show up in the box that it wasn't signaled.
Right.
And what we're seeing is the reaction time of response, but also their ability to kind of do these things. Another thing we look at here is impulse control. So I don't know if you've ever seen a driver at an intersection. They're waiting for that green light, and they start revving, and they start moving before it's even time. There's an impulse issue there, and that actually can put someone at risk on the road because that impulse is not being controlled in a proper manner. We see that in this test. So, final task, what we're looking at is just executive function, and it's just their ability to track and focus for a long period of time. So by this time, if they have gone through this test, they're now probably been challenged, their brain's been challenged a bit, and we're going to start to see some things here. So what we ask them to do is initially is just to track the X. So as they see an X, they just reach up and touch it.
Rejecting it, smoking it, and because of its
But then what we ask them to do is lag one behind. So when you see the first X, you don't touch it. You then touch where you saw this. When you see the second one, you touch where you saw the first one. So it's really simple.
Developed in clandestine labs.
Don't touch that one. No, touch it. And so on. And you go from there. And then our final task is just some driving situations.
So fentanyl's bad.
You are approaching a signal-controlled intersection at 50 kilometers per hour.
But I've certainly seen it.
The pavement is
I
wet.
work at, particularly in the Ottawa region.
Identify the most hazardous situation
100
or
times
condition
more
in the
potent
scene.
than fentanyl even. So basically, fentanyl.
It's the pedestrian entering into the roadway is the answer.
Leave the lab.
So then out of all of this, we then give a driver risk ranking. So a driver risk ranking is anywhere from 1 to 99. 1 is healthy, normal individual, their age range. So it's really important we compare them against healthy normals of their age range. The reason this is important is because most truck drivers are not in their young 20s right now. And so just they're saying, I don't know computers, I'm concerned about that. What we do is we actually are comparing them against a healthy individual of their age range. Why is this important? Our brains always, after 26, our brains start to decline. That doesn't mean we're unsafe, it just means our brains are going through that natural aging process. We don't want to count that natural aging process against an individual. So we want to be able to take that into effect to say, you know what, that doesn't mean they're unsafe because as they're aging, it just means we're looking at them in regards to that. And so it gives 1 to 99. 1 is healthy normal, 99 is there's something major concern of it, and it gives a level of